Creations. This is Chef Brine, Executive Chef of the Four Winds Casino. Today we brought on a guest host, the banquet chef of South Bend, the one, the only Chef Drew. Hey.
How's it going?
Well, I wanted to introduce you guys to him, get a little introduction. Chef, tell us a little about yourself.
So I've been with the casino since 2014. Took a little time off after, becoming a sous chef. Wanted to run a brewery for a while. Picked up a lot of experience, a lot of freelancing there. And then I came back early 2021 and wanted to open up the banquet department here. And
we got lucky.
Yeah, and get us rolling, get a new regime going.
So today, tell us about what you're gonna do today with us.
So today we're looking at doing a couple of smoked goods. One of my personal favorites, I like doing it year round. One of my favorites is a nice beef brisket here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's always smoking season, so.
Always.
I like that.
Brisket's one of my favorites. It's versatile. You can eat it any time of the year. Everyone loves it. It's become very popular in general. All right, so the next step that we want to do now that we've got it all trimmed up is do a dry brine.
Okay.
So what we're doing there, which is just taking kosher salt and rubbing it down. And what that does is it helps to open up the pores a little bit. It allows for more penetration for as far as the seasonings when we add that, and for the smoke later in the process. It'll also remove excess water and juices from the brisket skins. And that way it'll allow a nice dry bark to form on the brisket, which is, you get that nice thick layer of crust on the edge, and then your smoke ring, and then that juicy tender meat in the middle.
And now you're talking, Chef, now you're talking. All right.
So all we do is literally just take the salt and massage it in.
Next, we're gonna go ahead and knock out this coffee rub that you got for this brisket, right, Chef?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's break down these ingredients real quick.
All right, so we've got our coffee. You want it nice and fine ground because, sometimes you get that thicker ground, you're not gonna get as much coverage out of it.
Oh, nice, okay. So even possibly even an espresso or something?
Yep, an espresso ground is basically what that is.
Perfect.
And then we're gonna move on to the chili powder, another key ingredient that you want. Get a little bit of that spiciness in there with that. Then we got our brown sugar.
That's sweet.
Yep.
I like it.
And that'll actually help a lot with the crust of the brisket because you're gonna get that brown sugar to start to caramelize, and that's what causes that crust to really form up there on top.
Okay.
And you'll notice it's packed together. You wanna break that up. And then we're gonna add crushed red pepper flakes, a little more spice on there.
A little heat on the meat.
And then cayenne pepper, because we really want to balance these.
Oh, that's gonna hit you right.
And then we've got garlic powder.
Garlic goes on there, right?
There's never too much garlic. Some coriander.
Perfect.
And then we've got our smoked sweet paprika.
Got every component you can in there. Smoke, sweet.
A little bit of everything. And then some onion powder. And then we're just gonna mix it up, make sure it's nice and thoroughly mixed together so that we get ample coverage of all of those flavors all together on every bite of this brisket. All right, so we're getting ready to throw the brisket in the smoker. And first thing you want to do is make sure you soak your wood chips. That way they're nice and wet. They don't just burn up and create a fire. They're going to create the steam and the smoke that causes this whole process to really work. And so by letting them soak for about 15 minutes, that gives us enough time for it to smoke for about 12 to 14 hours like we're searching for. And then we'll run off residual heat to finish getting that brisket all the way up there. And now we're gonna take the brisket, we're gonna throw it up here on the top shelf with our biggest point side toward us. And that way, when we get close to it, we wanna temp that thick part and we'll get an accurate reading of what the temperature is doing in here. And so we're just gonna close it up and then we're gonna let it roll for about 14 hours. So we got it sealed up nice and tight, keep that residual heat going.
Yeah.
So we're gonna unwrap it and reveal this beautiful, beautiful brisket. And so we're all ready. You see this nice bark that's formed? That salt brine really did its job, kept it nice and moist on the inside because you can still see that give, but you still got that nice thick crust on the outside. So at 183 degrees is when I pulled it off the smoker, took it, put it in that butcher paper and wrapped it so it's nice and tight. We want to now keep all that moisture in and kind of let it steam itself.
Gotcha. And
that way you're gonna keep all that juices and not have it dry out too much.
That's what the cooler's for, trying to keep everything in.
That's what the cooler will be for at the end too. So at 183, when you wrap it, you're gonna put it back on the smoker and then bring it up to 203 degrees.
Okay.
And at that point is when you're gonna pull it off, put it in your cooler and let it just rest for about 30 minutes.
Okay. All right.
And then you get to this point here. So you can see right here where it's starting to split.
Yep.
And that's where your decal and your point are gonna start to separate. So now I'm gonna show you the difference why we're separating these. You see the grain right here at the back end is running this way with your brisket. And you wanna cut against the grain, so we're gonna cut at this angle. But pulling this brisket top off, you see it's running straight side to side. So when I put it back on top like that, your grainage is this way, where this is coming this way. So if I cut it all together, this is gonna be a lot tougher because you're not cutting against the grain anymore.
That makes sense.
So that's why you separate them. A lot of people skip that step, and
don't skip.
Don't skip it, you'll get a better product, and in the end, it's just gonna be a lot better of a meal.
All right, sounds good. Looks delicious. The smell is intense. The crust is phenomenal.
Yep, and so,
great.
Yep, you're gonna see your graining coming this way, so we're gonna cut right across it. And you want to cut it into approximately 1/8 to 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. So our first ingredient we're going to use is an apple cider vinegar. Okay. We're going to add that right into our pot because that's one of the first 3 ingredients that we're going to heat up and then let it simmer for a little bit to get those flavors to meld. And then we're going to add kosher salt.
The chef's friend.
Yeah, and then brown sugar.
All right.
And those are the 3 ingredients that we're going to let sit together, heat up, and then reduce down just a little bit to bring that flavor profile together that we're really starting to look for before we add the rest of the ingredients. The rest are, you're gonna have some ketchup, your choice of hot sauce. I chose Tabasco Chipotle, which also adds that smoked flavor that I love personally, and Chipotle is one of my favorites.
I agree.
And then some crushed red pepper, some onion powder, some black pepper, and garlic powder.
All right. All right, so we got our briskets cut up. We do have our sauce. This is the sauce that you made with the rub.
Yep, North Carolina barbecue.
There we go, man. I gotta try a little bit of sauce on there. Oh, man.
That's a whole nother
vinegar flavor, yeah. Yep. It really, I mean, trying this by itself is delicious. If you put that vinegar sauce onto it, it brings a whole other element to the dish.
Yep. Nice, sweet, smoky, bitter, sweet, salty.
It really
get a little bit of everything.
Every element in the dish. You gotta try this stuff. The combination's amazing right here. Chef, thank you, man. You did it again. I appreciate it, man. From our kitchen to yours, it's Chef Brine and Chef Drew. Have a good one.